actually.
Welcome everyone to a very, very special Q&A today. What a crew we have. Woo!
Spider-Verse!
It takes some wrangling to get this own Spider-Verse together. I'm Terry Schwartz from IGN, and I first want to introduce our incredible panel of talent. So in the front row, we have Chris Miller and Phil Lord, our producers.
Yeah.
Woo! We have Jake Johnson playing Peter Parker.
Woo! Yeah.
Shamik Moore, our Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And Mahershala Ali as our Uncle Aaron. And then in our back row, we have our three incredible directors, Bob Persichetti, Rodney Rothman, and Peter Ramsey.
Yes!
Lily Tomlin as Aunt May. Luna Lauren Velez as Rio, Miles' mother. And Brian Tyree Henry as Jefferson Miles. Yes! No, thank you guys so much for coming here. It's really cool, actually, to get to talk to you all now because the reviews for this movie came out on Wednesday, and with 49 reviews and counting, you guys are still at 100% positive on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
No
whammies.
No whammies. I, of course, need to tout IGN's review. We gave you guys a 9, which is an amazing, and it's funny, it's true, you can use every sort of spider adjective to talk about this movie. Incredible, spectacular. What?
Was it a 9 out of 10? Is that?
A 9 out of 8.
Yes, sorry.
Talk about that.
No,
What caused you guys to like talk about that?
Hey.
Was it
We'll talk
personal?
about that after. No.
Yeah.
And also,
No, defend the 9.
I'll shout out David Griffin. You guys can go find his Twitter and talk to him about it. No, I also did want to mention that the New York Film Critics Circle just named this the year's best animated movie as well. Really incredible. But I do want to get to some questions. Obviously, we want to keep things spoiler-free for when the movie comes out on December 14th. But we
December 14th, you say? Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
Wait, December 14th?
That's right.
In
theaters?
theaters,
In
theaters, right? Exclusively in
December
theaters.
14th.
Right, it's a movie.
It's a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie.
It's
totally
we're to talk about a movie.
You know what? Yeah, you got to see it more than once too to really
You do.
capture it.
Well, then you can see it on December 15th and
That's right.
December 16th.
That's right. And you know
Christmas
what?
is
You might
coming
buy
up.
a few extra seats just so you can spread out a little bit.
You want reports of like empty theaters?
Phil, that's not what we're selling.
No, you got to buy the seats.
First
it.
question for Chris and Phil. Why, of all the Spider-Man stories to tell, was it so important for you guys to tell a Miles Morales story, our first time seeing Miles on the big screen in this way?
Well, in 2014, when Sony came to us and said, what about doing an animated Spider-Man? We said, we'll do it, but only if it's a Miles Morales story. And they said, okay. And we said, really? Awesome, because it's such a fresh new take on the sort of eternal Spider-Man hero myth that Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created so many years ago.
And the relationship with Miles and his family, while he's a young man trying to figure out how he can actualize his potential, and their parents and an uncle trying to figure out how they can help him the best. That was so moving to us and so refreshing to see this intact family, and where they all love each other, but they're trying to figure out the best way to help this kid.
No, Shamik, I've heard that it has been your dream to play Miles Morales. So what did it mean to you to be able to play this version of Spider-Man?
I mean, it was like, it's a dream come true. I wrote it in my journal, and it came to life. These guys saw a movie called Dope, and I was, while filming... Snaps.
Are we doing snaps?
Are we
We're all
Hey.
Perfect snaps it is.
You're like,
We've committed to snaps.
While filming the movie Dope, I was writing that in my journal, and I was practicing my mind is, I was reading the 4 agreements, we were practicing the law of attraction, we were looking at The Secret, you know what I mean? I was on that wave, The Alchemist, meditating, and I wrote it in my journal. Kiersey, my co-star in Dope, comes upstairs, she gives me a journal, and I just start writing. I am Miles Morales, I am Spider-Man. And then the movie, not in theaters, but in like a Sundance comes out, and I guess these guys, you know, I don't know.
Your journal.
Manifested.
Now that you have this like magical journal where you just write things over and over and you get that, what else are you writing?
You know what I said?
Box office numbers?
Yeah, I didn't do that, but you know what I did say? That it was going to be the best Spider-Man movie to ever be made. That's such a I wanted to ask the directors, like, you know, we have seen many Spider-Man stories before, but Spider-Verse, not just in the array of spider people that we see in this movie, it really does tell us a Spider-Man story we haven't seen on the big screen before, and really in many versions. So I did want to ask, like, why tell this story in animation, and what can you tell us about the unique style of animation that you chose in this? Because I can't think of any other movie that looks like this in the style that you chose here.
You're right. They
Intentionally.
Woo! Like this. No, I mean, I think we, you know, once Phil and Chris sort of presented the idea of telling the origin story for Miles, it just became okay, so we're going to put everything subjective to Miles. This character, his family, he's from Brooklyn. Let's go to Brooklyn. Let's absorb Brooklyn, and let's find a way to make you feel like you're in a version of Brooklyn that's a little bit heightened, where the personality of the city is reflected into the personality of the character, and we did that for each borough with Queens and Manhattan, and it was just as far as the technique for the animation, it was just a dream to try and break out of a mold that I think, you know, is fantastic. There's been 20 years of CGI films that are all wonderful and beautiful, but we wanted this thing to stand out and be as unique and idiosyncratic as Miles and Shameik, and that's how we represented it.
Oh, thank you.
Laws of attraction, Shameik.
Magic journal.
The mandate sort of from the beginning, and this was from working with Phil and Chris, the mandate was sort of to push every part of the movie, you know, as much as we could in a new way. You know, we wanted to give the audience, you know, a kind of new experience, and we didn't really know how to do that in the beginning, but that was always the goal. And again, everything sort of funneled through Miles Morales' story, and just saying, how can we use, you know, the visuals and the story, and how can we, you know, push ourselves, you know, in new ways to sort of express this kid's story and what he's feeling from moment to moment in a way that that will feel fresh to people. So that was, you know, we were sort of empowered to do that, you know, fortunately, and you know, the thing was like, they always said, we want to tell you guys you've gone too far, you know, and I don't know that we heard that. You know? maybe I want to do this.
Once or twice.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the really great thing about it is, as new and different as it is and seems to be, because, you know, in large part it's grounded by these amazing performances by our cast, who are like all incredible. It kind of like reinforces the essential strength of the idea of Spider-Man. You know, we've always said anyone can wear the mask. Miles is sort of the emblem of that, but it just shows you how strong the idea that Stan Lee and Steve Ditko created was and stays. It's just an iconic character, and we had a great time doing it.
I will also say I just loved how you guys incorporated the visual aesthetic of comic books, like from the thwips to the, you know, sort of thought squares into the movie in a way that felt really seamless and paying homage to the entire legacy of Spider-Man.
Why not? We could do it.
Yeah?
Animation could do it. Yeah. We ran with it.
And I think it works because we left it subjective to Miles. You know, you see it in the opening with the existing Spider-Man, and then it disappears until Miles is bitten by the spider, and then we bring it back in, and it's really, you know, it's a narrative tool, so it works on many levels.
Yeah. Now, Jake, you play Peter B. Parker, a new Peter Parker version of Peter Parker that we meet in this movie. What can you tell us about who Peter is, and what makes this version of him different and special from who we've seen before?
Well, I think it's Peter Parker at 40. Which I think makes him a little bit different.
That's
40 is a real thing. It's a very real thing. It's Peter as a mentor. It's somebody who has forgotten what it means to be a superhero, hanging out with somebody who's learning how to be a superhero. And really, I formed a lot of Peter. Obviously, the writing is so good, and our directors and creators were incredible. And they allowed me to act with this guy in the booth.
Oh, nice.
Which really helped a lot of figuring out who Peter was, because you could play Peter opposite Miles. And Peter really exists in this with his relationship with Miles. So I guess that's who he is.
Yeah, I can't even say anything because I want people to experience that dynamic for the first time on the screen, but it's like so pitch perfect. And so I'm not even intended on that, I swear. Haley, but speaking as sort of the theme of anyone can wear a mask.
Segue.
Applause. All right, that's it. It's a wrap. No, but Gwen Stacy is one of the many spider people, but one of the people that we meet early on in the movie. Also a version of a spider character who has been in the mask for a while. What can you tell us about sort of what attracted you to this role and why you think this character is so important and why you wanted to play her?
I just have to say, I just noticed your shirt, and that's awesome.
Uniqlo plug.
That is great.
This is so good.
There were so many things about this character in particular, but about this project in general that excited me about just being a part of it. But here is a character who is just free-spirited and strong and smart and knows it and takes control of that. She is a natural, fearless leader. And I don't know, there's such an incredible part of her that is so her own person, but she is completely capable of anything, but everybody comes together and everybody becomes a team, which I think is so special. And there's such an incredible relationship that Spider-Gwen has with everybody that she encounters, and she leaves a lasting impression, I think, on everybody that she encounters, which is very special. But overall, generally being, just a part of this project is truly an honor, and just again to be here with everybody right now, it's kind of realizing that, seeing it together as a whole. I saw it for the first time last night, and it is incredible. So very excited. Yeah. Snap.
All right. Yeah. I didn't realize, Shamik and Jake, that you guys had actually recorded together. Haley, did you have a?
No, in fact, I didn't know that either.
Well, I did realize during some press with you, I was like, oh, I would have liked to record.
How did the three of you guys sort of, develop that dynamic and that team sentiment for your characters?
Well, we met 2 days ago.
You got to give credit to these people right here. Well done, everybody.
Editing.
But we got to work together, which was nice. But really, it was, a lot of work they did in putting it together.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times we were just like, hey, will you please just stop the tour bus?
No.
For like 2 hours. And can we run in there? Can we get these 5 lines?
It's hard to catch up with a rock star.
Well, what was cool was that they each brought something, and it was a many-year process. We recorded with them for a couple of years, so every time they would bring something, so they would record something. We're like, oh, this is awesome. We need to rework the scene so that it plays more into that. And so then when we record the next person, then we would build off of that, and it was really interactive.
And even funks that we were recording individually, once you put it into the scene and you see what the dynamic looks like, it forces us to go rewrite and try to get the best out of everything.
There was
Really
a lot of that.
slow improv.
It's super slow. Yeah. Slow motion improv.
Exactly what
My work has been described as worse.
Now, Lily, you play another version of an iconic character in this movie, Aunt May. Without giving too much away, how would you sort of describe this version of May?
Well, she's Peter Parker's aunt.
Nailed it.
That's true.
And she's been through it all, and she's ready to deal with anything that comes her way in helping Miles get with it.
Yeah. There are obviously opportunities for many sequels and spin-offs and everything, but May was definitely a character after seeing the movie where I was like, I want the Aunt May story. I want to know what happened before we got to this point and what led us to here.
Write it in Shamik's journal.
Yeah. There you go. Sequel, May sequel.
I have this journal in case anybody wants to pass it around. No, I started because Phil asked me, he was like, is this a true story? I was like, yes, and I have the journal.
Oh, really? Cool.
That's cool.
Now, one thing I think that's really interesting about sort of the way this movie adapts Spider-Man stories is that a lot of times it involves Spider-Man, be it Peter Parker or different iterations of the character, losing sort of like a father figure, an important figure in their life. And here, in addition to sort of Peter being a mentor, we also have a bunch of incredible family members who have a big impact on Miles's life. And so I want to talk to Luna and Brian and Mahershala a little bit about, I know, you guys are so far away. about sort of, you know, what you brought to the story and what having that family dynamic really added to Into the Spider-Verse. So for Luna, one thing that I really loved was that there are moments when, you know, Rio is talking to Miles in Spanish, and there's like no need for subtitles. It's just like, this is a multicultural family, and this is what their relationship is like. So why was it important to you to sort of have those aspects? And, you know, the writers and directors can talk about it as well, and producers. But why was that important to you, and why was it important to you to play this role?
Well, you know, honestly, when I got into the room, it just existed. The Spanish was already there, and it was already incorporated. And this character, we agreed, is from Brooklyn, Puerto Rican, and that in and of itself is so specific. So I was really shocked with how, like, that I was going to get the opportunity to play this character who is so authentic. And not only that, that I was given the wiggle room to play with it and really find not only the rhythm of how that could fit and make sense, but to find her rhythm, because it's the first time I've ever done anything animated or voiceover. So for me, it was challenging and a little bit daunting at first to be given so much room. It was like, can you just tell me what you want
to say?
Say?
I don't have to just make it all up.
How do you want me to say it? It was like, go for it. Just say what you want to say.
Yeah, we just gave you a blank page. So lazy.
Rio wasn't even in the movie, and you just kind of made her up.
No, I got great stuff, but I was, you know, the encouragement to just keep going and growing with it was really special. And also, it wasn't until I started doing it that I recognized that, you know, Spider-Man, this is the first time you see Spider-Man's mom, and how important it is that this is an ethnic woman. This family is ethnic, and, you know, it's not a struggling family. This is a loving, thriving, giving, growing, ever-evolving family, and that was really exciting to be a part of.
Yeah. And then for Brian and Mahershala, obviously Miles' relationship with both his father and his uncle are pretty different, and that he sort of has different lessons that he learns from each of them. What can you tell us about, again, no spoilers, about your character's relationship with Miles and how you think they helped shape him both as a person and a Spider-Man? Easy softball.
Well, I feel like Uncle Aaron is sort of the safety net that parents appreciate later. So he's the guy that Miles can go to where there's certain things that fall through the cracks in raising a child, and where they can't necessarily always relate or go to a parent. And so to have Aaron there, who is wise, who is street smart and experienced in ways that Miles obviously is not, and in ways that his brother is not at this point. There's something about Aaron that makes him very easy to connect to for Miles, and very relatable and very safe in a certain way. And so he was just great on the page in general, and I could just understand what the dynamic was. And also was also great is that there's a little bit of tension between Aaron and Jefferson, and you understand clearly as to why that is. And it's a dynamic that is still very much, at least at our point in the story, in process or in progress. You can kind of imagine that they have work to do and potentially will do that work if they're given that time together, you know? Yeah. And so, yeah, he's just definitely there to support and be somewhat of a mirror and a voice and a sounding board for Miles. And it was great getting to see that dynamic play out so beautifully on screen.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, how about for you?
Well, I thought it was really great. One, that here we are raising this you know, multicultural child in Brooklyn, and he is part of Parents of Service. Like, you're a paramedic and I'm a cop, you know. So our duty is to help people, and being able to play the father of this Spider-Man in this was just unbelievable, because it was just so refreshing to see this young black kid who actually really has this great relationship with his father, and his father is also like his source of strength, and his father is who he looks to. And meanwhile, he also still has a great familial bond with his brother and / uncle, you know what I mean? But we are still trying to figure our things out. What I love about the whole thing is that it's all based out of love. Like, it really is like this communal effort to raise this young kid and give him the advantages that we may not have had, and to put him out there in this world that may not be so welcoming to those kind of changes, and to make sure that we rear him in the right way. So I think that's a testament to the writing and the direction, just allowing us to explore that, allowing him to be a child, allowing him to be one with his neighborhood. I mean, he have respect for adults. Still go out there and be the kid that he is, but then to know that he can come home to this place that is constantly giving him love, that is constantly going to embrace him. There's no place in this city he can't go without being embraced, and I think that is just something that to me is so dynamic and a representation. I mean, the representation, it's very clear. This is this world. That is how it is. And I mean, I think it's been done in such a seamless way with the way they put it together, because it's really hard sometimes to feel like you can have that kind of fantasy when you come from these different backgrounds, you come from these different places, to feel like you can be a hero, to feel like you can go and experience that. And I think that this movie wonderfully captures all of that anyone can be that person. Anyone can be a hero no matter who you are, as long as it is definitely embraced and pushed forward with love. And I think that's what we do.
Woo! That's worth snaps.
Can we give you guys snaps too? Like, you guys did an amazing job. You guys did an amazing job.
I cannot believe that we've already gone through like 25 minutes already, because there's so much we haven't touched on, the humor, the Easter eggs, but I do want to get to some fan questions as well. This is a question for everyone from Michael Vlasak on Twitter. Matthew Vlasak. He says, this is the first time seeing so many interactions of the Spider-Man character from different universes that will be featured in the movies. What do you hope people, especially kids, walk away with after seeing it?
I mean, our whole goal from the beginning was to have everyone come away and feel empowered from the movie and be able to look up on the screen and find someone and be like, that feels like me. I could be that person. I could be a hero too. And we want people to know that we're there for them and we're all counting on them.
Yeah.
Anyone can wear the mask.
Anyone can wear the mask?
Yeah. And still be unique, though.
Yeah.
And still be, you don't become that Spider-Man in wearing the mask.
What's the line?
There's still a strong degree of individuality.
What makes you different?
Yeah, and people having their own qualities even within being a superhero.
And that's the thing, like, we have such an incredible array of people here too, but there are so many other iterations of Spider-Man, even in the movie. Like, we have Penny Parker, we have Spider-Noir and Spider-Ham, and everyone that I'm sure that you guys were writing these down and you're like, there's no way they'll let us put Spider-Ham. And here he is on posters.
That was our Waterloo.
I do want to ask all the voice talent in the movie, if you could play any character other than your own in this film, who would they be and why? And this is a character from Brogan Wilson on Twitter.
Ooh.
Wow.
Do you want to start with Jake?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, I have an answer.
Oh, fantastic. I'm fully prepared. I'm not stalling right now in the slightest. I'm just saying the answer out loud, and that's what's happening right now. I would say Spider-Ham.
Boom!
I took the answer from everybody.
That's going to be a repeat answer. Does anyone have an answer that's not Spider-Ham?
Me!
Oh.
I actually went for Uncle Aaron.
Oh, that's crazy. Me too.
He's so cool. He's so
cool.
I just thought he was. I just love that. I want to be that cool when I.
Well, I wish I could take credit.
If anybody can, you can.
Believe me, if I was doing the voice, it wouldn't be as cool. Take some credit.
So take
Right. I would be Gwen.
Yeah.
I told
Everybody
you, Gwen.
stole my answers.
Gwen
that was 1, 2, 3.
Gwen came with the realness, man. Gwen had the humor. Gwen had the sass. Gwen was still very. I was like, oh, she's really, really, really cool. Like I actually think that.
Killed it.
I would totally, Just saying,
Gwen probably has it together the most of everyone in this movie.
For sure.
There's nothing left for me but Miles.
I would full on see that movie.
Yeah, I would like the Tomlin version of
Believe
Miles Morales.
Sure. Somewhere in the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I don't want to make you too much more upset, but we also were in the booth together too.
Oh, great.
I will say,
I meant to say that before.
That day when all four of us.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
So I was alone. Just so you know.
Kidding.
Haley, I was alone as well.
Okay, great.
But
I was by myself.
Okay. Thank you.
It was only because they were both in Atlanta at the same time.
Yeah.
Nothing.
and then New York, at the same time. And then LA. But you got the familial bond that way.
It was requested.
It was requested.
I swear it's not because of this conversation happening right now that I'm getting the wrap-up sign.
No, but it was requested because it was initially the very first scene you two guys were in together, and it was the police car ride, and it was.
What about the very first scene we were in together?
Yeah, Bob. Wanted you guys to seem like you didn't.
Anxiety thing.
The scenes that we should have done together definitely should have been like. I mean, no, it's good the way it is.
That's a snap!
So amazing.
You've lost control of it.
I've lost control, but like, what the perfect ending for it. No, I appreciate everyone so much taking the time to have this chat with everyone today. I'm so excited for everyone at home to get to see the movie on December 14th, 15th, 16th, all the way through Christmas. Keep buying tickets, buy out your theaters.
January, February, March.
It's going to be on home video eventually, so please
Don't wait
place
for
your
that,
pre-orders.
though.
No, it won't.
Don't wait
Gotta
for
see it
that.
on
Exclusively in theaters forever.
Big screen. Big screen.
In theaters forever.
We do gotta go. I hope we made enough spider puns for everyone at home. But to end you with a bang, please, I'm sure you're very excited to see this again, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse trailer. Thanks, everyone. That's all for everybody.
My name is Peter Parker. I'm pretty sure you know the rest. I saved the city, fell in love, then I saved the city again and again and again. Look, I'm a comic book, a cereal, I did a Christmas album, and a so-so popsicle. But this isn't about me. Not anymore.
Spider-Man swings in once a day, zip zap zop in his little mask and answers to no one. I love you, Miles.
Yeah, I know that.
You gotta say I love you back.
Dad, are you serious?
I wanna hear it.
Look at this place.
Dad, I love you.
Dad, I love you.
That's a copy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Miles Morales. I'm the one and only Spider-Man. At least that's what I thought.
You ever hear of the Super Collider? You're gonna love this.
Dimension opening now.
You're like me.
That's impossible.
All right, kid, listen up. This fry is your universe. It's soggy, it's weird, it's gross. And this delicious normal fry is my universe. So you want to learn to be Spider-Man?
Can you teach me?
Yes, I can. Time to swing. Good, you're doing it. Double tap to release and whip it out again.
Okay.
Whip.
And release.
You're a natural. Whip.
Hey guys,
Who are you?
I'm Gwen Stacy. I'm from another dimension.
How many more spider people are there?
Hey, fellas.
Hello.
This could literally not get any weirder.
It can get weirder.
Okay. We need to get back to our universes soon.
Brooklyn is gonna collapse. My family lives in Brooklyn.
Whoa.
Miles, what's wrong?
This was never your city. It's mine.
If I don't destroy the collider, none of us will have a home to go home to.
Remember, what makes you different
Let's go.
is what makes you Spider-Man.
Officer, I love you.
Wait, what?
That way. Other way.
Do animals talk in this dimension? Because I don't want to freak them out.
Hey there, here's today's Daily Fact. Now, the matrix code comes from sushi. That's right. Those complex looking green digits scrolling down the screen in the matrix may look like mysterious code, but in fact they were symbols from a sushi cookbook scanned by the movie's production designer. Now click here below to subscribe for more great content, or on the side for another video.